I've been asked to review some pretty odd things, and when I got the chance to build and review a stationary bike, I jumped on the opportunity. This is the Yesoul G1M, a stationary bike that is marketed to compete against the far more expensive Pelaton alternative. At $500, the G1M sounds too good to be true, and I put it to the test. Yesoul says that the G1M is an interactive bike that gives live feedback about workout performance and has an onboard TV with streaming capability. The company also has a companion application that provides workout videos and other materials. The G1M has 100 levels of resistance, adjusted by a magnetic belt drive that's controlled through a knob under the seat. The bike has a large 21.5-inch HD screen and generous speakers, both of which can be swiveled about 90 degrees to the left or right. The bike comes in a large, heavy box, and all the components are very well packaged. We were actually surprised to see the origami method the company employed to keep all the parts compact for shipping, yet also well protected. The bike comes with clear visual instructions. Everything you need to build is included in the box. It's theoretically possible for one person to assemble the G1M, but frankly, it's a bit faster and easier with two people. Taking the parts out of the box, organizing and checking them was very straightforward. While none of the parts are clearly labeled to indicate what is what, the manual has correctly drawn visualization of each part and in what orientation they must be put together. The base of the bike with the flywheel is very heavy indeed. That's exactly what you want, a sturdy foundation. The other parts are obviously much lighter, but also well made out of metal. We took our time reviewing the build instructions and double-checking the placement of each component. Now, most of this can be done without even resorting to the manual, since the stuff that you logically think should go in one place really does. The key to the entire assembly is to securely fit everything and to tighten all the fastenings. Bolts that are left slightly loose will seem to cause a lot of play when you eventually get on the bike. So once everything is in place, tighten and torque until there are no more loose fittings. We were rather impressed with the build quality of all the components. We were expecting flimsy materials, but instead everything is quite sturdy. Even the plastic knobs have thick plastic and strong metal bolts. The pedals are designed to securely fit into their sockets, and you can stand on them without fear of breaking. The saddle's height can be adjusted about 12 inches. The saddle can be horizontally adjusted about 5 inches. The front fork can be adjusted approximately 4 inches. Yesoul says that the G1M can accommodate people who are between 5 feet and 6 feet tall, with a maximum of 265 pounds. I am 5'9" and my partner is 5'6". Both of us were easily able to adjust the bike for a comfortable sitting position. We are both experienced cyclists and own road bikes, so proper fitting is a critical factor we take a look at whenever we're about to ride. We have a bit of experience with this issue, and we were happy to see that the G1M provides sufficient adjustability. The saddle is stiff and streamlined. This is not a cruiser saddle, but neither is it a typical road bike saddle. The G1M saddle is a middle ground of sleek, but still padded enough for some comfort. The G1M's screen and speakers are two separate pieces that bolt together. The 21.5-inch screen is actually a TV. The TV controls are on the bottom of the TV and get covered by the speakers when they are put together. That actually did not pose a problem since the screen turns on automatically when the bike is used. The back of the TV contains an HDMI and USB inputs where you can connect your phone, tablet, or other devices. The speaker system has a central knob that controls volume and TV input. You can also connect to the speaker using Bluetooth. The 1080p resolution of this TV is perfectly suitable for a screen this size. Content on it seems reasonably sharp, is clear, and does not seem to ghost. Yesoul did not provide specifications for this TV, so we really don't know what the refresh rate is. I would guess it's probably around 60 Hz. The speakers can get quite loud. Naturally, given their size and placement, don't expect massive bass. These speakers deliver clear sound, and we had no complaints given what they're being used for here. The entire TV and soundbar housing can be swiveled about 90 degrees left or right. This means that if you want to use the screen while you do your other cardio or weightlifting, you can. The TV and soundbar speakers do not come with a remote, and that kind of makes sense. If you connect your smart device, that's where all the content is coming from. The GM1 will display your performance metrics on the screen. When you start pedaling, you'll be provided your current RPM, power, resistance level, distance, estimated caloric burn, and a total time of your present workout. However, there is no connection here for heart rate, so there's no heart rate sensor built into the bike and no ability for you to connect an external heart rate sensor that you might be wearing. If you don't have a phone or tablet connected to the TV, then these metrics will fill the screen. We were able to connect our smartphones to the speaker and place our phones on the phone stand below the TV. This allowed us to see the performance metrics but also have the speakers output our phone's audio content. If you want to connect your phone or tablet, Yesoul includes a few cables. One is for a Lightning-enabled iOS device, another is for Android devices. Connection is straightforward. One issue we discovered is that on some Android devices, you will not get a video signal to the TV. This is not an issue with the GM1, but instead with certain Android devices. For example, the Pixel 6a is purposefully designed to not output video signal through its USB-C port. You will need to check with your phone or tablet manufacturer to determine what your devices are able to do. The entire assembly took us about 45 minutes. We were frequently stopping to record this video and were purposefully reviewing the instructions and comparing drawings to the parts to see how they all matched up. We also had a supervisor on site to give periodic instructions. Your assembly time will likely be shorter if you have 2 people working on the build and a less demanding on-site supervisor. After about 12 hours of use, we are still quite happy with the GM1. None of the screws and bolts have loosened. The bike continues to perform as expected. We were pleasantly surprised by the total package, by the way. There's nothing at all wrong with the construction of each component or the assembly. Everything fits perfectly and seems to have been well thought out in advance. If you've been thinking about starting your own home gym, then you know that stationary bikes and weightlifting gear can be very expensive. Not many people have the money for a Pelaton, and buying knockoff alternatives can feel a little bit risky. But we are happy to report that the Yesoul GM1 seems to be a sturdy, well-built, and convenient stationary bike. The resistance levels provide a lot of adjustability. Naturally, the more fit you become, the more easy a resistance level will seem. The lowest setting basically makes the flywheel free spinning. The highest resistance we could set made pedaling very strenuous, requiring us to stand up in the saddle, which was a fair analog of a 10 to 15 degree incline. Finally, the Yesoul companion application seems similar to a lot of other fitness apps. You can connect to the GM1 through this application. This application has a subscription service, but there is some free content available as well. Now, you don't need to subscribe to access the free material. Connecting the app to the GM1 does not seem to offer any particular benefits, so if you have a different preferred application, you should use that instead. Ultimately, we are very happy with this stationary bike. In a home gym environment, this should last many years if you're reasonably careful with your gear. To us, $500 seems like a reasonable price for what you get. If you've wanted a Pelaton bike but you just can't justify the price, the Yesoul GM1 might be an excellent alternative.